Alan asks Michio to look after the non-combat slaves on the second floor, expressing concern for the safety of his customers. Following this, the slave trader takes his combat slaves to intercept the bandits. Meanwhile, the young boy and Roxanne remain behind as guards. As the battle commences, Michio, keeping a watchful eye, spots the level 3 bandit who had previously shown interest in the trade house. With his bonus magic skills, Michio attempts to apprehend the bandit using the spell Equivalent Exchange. However, due to his dwindling magical power, Michio falls to the ground and the thief implodes because of the spell. Following the perilous experiment, Alan rewards Michio for his efforts in safeguarding the shop. With his magical reserves nearly depleted, Michio decides to venture into the labyrinth alongside Roxanne in search of monsters from which he can harvest magic. It's during this exploration that he discovers his newfound mage title, unlocked through the use of Equivalent Exchange. Eager to enhance his magical abilities, Michio resolves to acquire a staff at the earliest opportunity. Subsequently, Michio and Roxanne enter the boss room on the second floor where they confront and swiftly defeat a colossal caterpillar. Upon ascending to the third floor, they encounter a different breed of monsters known as kobolds. After hunting a sufficient number of these creatures, they exit the labyrinth. Back at the Adventurers Guild, Michio hires a mage to teleport him first to the Imperial City and then to Quaratar, with the intention of securing a means of free teleportation for himself and Roxanne in the future. Following this strategic move, the duo returns to their inn. During the night, Michio initiates their ritual and tenderly cleans Roxanne's back. His hands then move to caress and knead her massive jewels, eliciting a sensual response from Roxanne. Eventually, Michio asks her to kiss him, and Roxanne willingly complies. Their mouths engage in a passionate exploration of each other. Subsequently, Michio proceeds to plow Roxanne's sacred garden, making the girl beg her master to be more forceful. Their activity ends with a quivering climax from Roxanne, and the intensity of their lovemaking session leaves them both panting. Filled with determination, Michio resolves to purchase a house to provide Roxanne with a more soundproof residence, as well as to indulge in his desires with increased passion. The following morning in Quaratar, Michio learns about the labyrinth's entrance fees for adventurers. To this, Roxanne shrewdly suggests that they can sneakily teleport inside for free. Michio buys a wooden staff from a weapon shop pointed out by the shopkeeper from a hardware store. Returning to the shopkeeper who had provided directions to the weapon shop, Michio inquires about the possibility of residing in the town. The lady responds affirmatively, making the boy delighted. With the expert guidance of the shopkeeper, they successfully locate and secure a spacious house near the labyrinth. Having settled into their new abode, the duo embark on an expedition to the Veil Labyrinth. Armed with his newly acquired staff, Michio confronts a level 3 green caterpillar and defeats it with less effort because of the enhancement from the staff. After completing their test, Michio and Roxanne return to their inn for one last night, reminiscing about the memories they've created there. As the duo sit on the bed, Michio undresses the girl and starts massaging her massive jugs. He fondles and kneads the two supple pieces of flesh, making Roxanne shiver from all the pleasure. Following this, Michio plunges his Excalibur inside Roxanne's sheath and continues the to and fro motion till the girl reaches orgasm. The following morning, after bidding farewell to the innkeeper, the pair arrive at their new home. While Roxanne gears up to clean the place, Michio sets off to explore the labyrinth within Quaratar. After paying the entry fee for the first time, Michio enters the labyrinth. Despite its similarities to the Veil Labyrinth, Quaratar's labyrinth proves different due to its crowded nature. After finding a secluded spot, Michio teleports back home. Upon his arrival, Roxanne greets him with enthusiasm, saying, "Welcome back, master." Hearing her words, Michio becomes aroused and begins to caress Roxanne's tail. However, before the two can lock each other's mouths, they get interrupted because of a loud knock at the door, which turns out to be the delivery of their ordered furniture. Afterwards, the two spend their first night in their house in a raunchy manner. During their wild session, Michio barely avoids opening Roxanne's forbidden place because of the room's darkness. Narrowly avoiding an accident, he continues by plowing her sacred garden hard, making his slave climax again and again. Michio wakes up because of Roxanne's deep and passionate kisses. As much as he wants to explore her body now, Michio controls his little brother as the duo need to explore the labyrinth. Later, at the entrance of the labyrinth, Michio discovers that despite its overcrowding, no one has ever managed to conquer the entirety of the Quaratar labyrinth, with the highest floor reached being the 91st. After they enter the labyrinth, he feels disappointment wash over him as Michio finds the first boss monster to be disappointingly weak. Consequently, he and Roxanne decide to teleport back home to alleviate their boredom. To keep themselves occupied, the duo embarks on the task of revitalizing the neglected garden. After gardening while shopping for a clothes washing tub, Michio has an epiphany and realizes that an extra large tub could easily double as an indoor bath, a prospect he is particularly excited about as it means he can take baths with Roxanne. The duo continue with their daily routine, steadily progressing through the labyrinth's floors. The difficulty of the boss monsters increases as they ascend further, resulting in a formidable foe possessing a unique magic skill that harms them. Michio, ensuring Roxanne is healed, engages in a fierce battle and manages to defeat the formidable sheep boss monster. Following this battle, Michio has a realization. He has unintentionally become complacent, putting both himself and Roxanne at risk. Recognizing the need to reassess their approach, they decide to head back home. Sometime later, the long-awaited bathtub is delivered. Michio seizes this opportunity to introduce Roxanne to the joys of bathing, complete with homemade soap that he crafted himself. He starts by applying the soap on her hands, followed by those massive squishy mouths. Michio thoroughly applies the bubbly soap on the magnificent peaks, and the heavenly view makes his hormones rage. He tightly embraces Roxanne and massages her bottom. The girl also takes the initiative by removing Michio's towel and starts rubbing soap on him, using her voluptuous body. She astonishes Michio by putting his rod between her deep cleavage, making him almost fall from the loss of strength in the legs. After this steamy session in the bath, the duo go back to their room to sleep. Looking at Roxanne's innocent sleepy face, Michio feels guilty over putting burden on her and decides that they need another warrior in their party as soon as possible. On the 7th floor of the labyrinth, Michio emerges victorious in a battle against the formidable rabbit monster, claiming a valuable rabbit skin as his reward. Later, while going through the Imperial City's market, Roxanne enlightens Michio about the lucrative demand for these skins in clothing stores, particularly for crafting cold weather attire. This newfound knowledge prompts Michio to embark on a quest to hunt these rabbit monsters specifically. Upon reaching the 7th floor boss, Michio and Roxanne encounter a rabid rabbit and swiftly defeat it. The boss drops quality meat as loot, and Roxanne masterfully transforms this into a delectable dinner. Determined to face the rabid rabbit again, they encounter another adventurer who has spent 2 years preparing for the battle. Tragically, the rabid rabbit proves to be too formidable and claims the adventurer's life. Witnessing this loss deeply affects Michio, and it manifests in a passionate and rough pounding for Roxanne that night. Despite their intense session, he struggles to come to terms with the harsh reality that adventurers often meet their demise in the labyrinth, and it could one day be their fate. Sensing her master's turmoil, Roxanne provides solace by embracing him tightly, motivating Michio to overcome his depression. The following day, after amassing more than enough rabbit skins, they sell their bounty to a clothing store, and at the same time, Michio purchases silk camisoles for Roxanne. Upon returning home, the perverted master prepares a bath but finds his magical power running low. So the duo decide to venture into the labyrinth for a quick recovery. However, on the 7th floor, they encounter a formidable bull monster that injures Michio's finger. Though he heals the injury using magic, the incident serves as a stark reminder of the labyrinth's increasing danger. Later, during their baths, Michio introduces Roxanne to oral intimacy. Roxanne demonstrates her prowess in thoroughly pleasuring her master by fully devouring the Excalibur, even consuming his essence. In their bedroom, Michio is aroused by Roxanne and her new camisole, leading to a passionate kiss and an intense, almost rhythmic lovemaking session. The next day, while exploring the labyrinth, Roxanne congratulates Michio as they acquire a valuable skill stone as loot from a defeated monster. After breakfast, Michio informs Roxanne of the plan to visit Alan in Vale, where he intends to draft his last will and testament to ensure her freedom upon his eventual passing. Roxanne reacts strongly, expressing that she would perceive his death as her own failure and that she'd rather not continue living in such a scenario. Her impassioned plea manages to convince Michio to reconsider writing such a will. Nonetheless, Michio insists that their visit to Alan is still necessary because they are in search of a new party member. Subsequently, at Alan's mansion, Michio informs the slave trader that he wants to purchase a dwarf slave possessing the blacksmithing skill. Alan informs them that he only has one dwarf slave available, a 16-year-old named Sherry. However, to their disappointment, Sherry is neither a blacksmith nor skilled in combat. The slave trader brings Sherry forward, and she explains that she has reached Explorer level 10, which is the usual prerequisite for gaining the blacksmith skill. Strangely though, the skill has never manifested for her. Despite this setback, Sherry sincerely pleads with Michio to purchase her. Meanwhile, Roxanne keenly observes Sherry and notices that the dwarf has thin ears, which she believes to be a sign of advanced age among dwarfs. When Michio inquires about this, Alan clarifies that it is in fact a birth defect, confirming that Sherry is indeed 16 years old but agrees to lower the asking price. After some negotiation, Michio decides to purchase the dwarf. With Roxanne's approval, though he can't be entirely certain if her expression hints at jealousy or not. After finalizing the transaction, the duo teleports Sherry to their home in Quartar, leaving her greatly shocked by the magical transportation. Furthermore, Sherry expresses her astonishment at Michio's ability to use magic, as myths suggest that only gods can use skills from multiple jobs. Sitting at the table, Michio explains to Sherry that she will be using either a hammer or a maul as her weapon, in the hope that it might trigger the unlocking of her dormant blacksmith skill. Sherry opts for a wooden club as her weapon of choice. Later, before dinner, the trio embark on a brief expedition to the Labyrinth since Michio's MP is running low. After a quick battle in the Labyrinth, they return to their home for dinner. During the meal, there is a moment of near awkwardness as Michio almost serves Sherry first, which earns him a disapproving glare from Roxanne. He swiftly corrects his mistake by serving Roxanne first. As they enjoyed a lavish dwarven cuisine, Michio is taken aback when he learns that, unlike the job-specific blacksmith role for dwarves, the only job specifically linked to humans is the somewhat unexpected sex maniac. Later, during their bathing ritual, Michio undertakes the task of cleansing Roxanne's ample bosom, massaging her breasts with soapy care, creating a rich, foamy lather that accentuates her curves. He then proceeds to clean Sherry's petite and perky chest, skillfully eliciting pleasurable moans from the dwarf. Following this intimate moment, Roxanne takes it upon herself to teach Sherry how to properly clean Michio's body. She uses her voluptuous figure, including her chest, to sensually glide over every inch of her master's form, even teasingly brushing against Excalibur. Sherry, eager to assist, joins in by using her own body to thoroughly cleanse Michio. All the while, Michio revels in the luxurious service, immersed in a state of bliss. Afterward, in their room, Michio makes another mistake by accidentally kissing Sherry before Roxanne. However, he quickly finds a way to justify the order of his kisses by explaining that Roxanne is the first slave and the best is for last. Having learned from his previous blunder, Michio chooses to make love to Roxanne first. He engages with the voluptuous wolf girl in various passionate positions, ensuring her complete satisfaction. After an intense pounding, he skillfully brings her to climax. Following this intimate moment with Roxanne, Michio turns his attention to Sherry. He approaches the petite dwarf with care and gentleness, and their connection deepens as he unseals her sacred garden. Michio, while ensuring her comfort, diligently pounds Sherry, and Roxanne joins them in the experience, resulting in an unexpected but enjoyable threesome. The passionate lovemaking concludes when Michio reaches the pinnacle of pleasure with Sherry. The next morning, Michio discovers that he has unlocked the sex maniac job, and he's pleasantly surprised by how it enhances his stamina, intelligence, and magic. Inspired by his newfound abilities, Michio openly announces his intention to form a harem. Following this proclamation, he adds 3 new members to their party: Miria the Catkin, Vesta the Dragon King, and Rutina the Elf. While thoroughly exploring the gardens of each girl, Michio considers this harem of his in this another world as heaven.